Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Ignis, and this is channel update number 8. I haven't done one of these in a while, over 6 months since the last one. I like to do these whenever I've got some details to share with you guys, clarify anything that may not be clear about what we're doing, why we're doing it, what is going to be changing, what's going to be staying the same, etc. And today we've got a lot to talk about, so we're going to dive right in. I like to start off with the series that we've already got on the go, or maybe are on the go, but people are unsure what to expect from them because they haven't been coming out for a while. So in no particular order, Dark Souls, the videos are slow to produce, but we're going to continue producing them because there's not a lot of people who watch it, but the people who do watch it seem to be really enjoying them and they're engaged. They leave lots of comments and feedback and tips and stuff like that. And I think if they're going to put the effort in to contribute like that, the least I can do is continue producing the videos. I'm grimly determined to finish the game. Like I said, mentioned previously, gamer pride, whatever you want to call it, it's one of the most notoriously difficult games ever. And to not finish it, having come so far, would be kind of silly, really. The difficulty is, first of all, scheduling, trying to get it fixed, fit in to do the production, but also if you imagine my motivation for another beating as sort of like a health bar that regenerates very, very slowly, that kind of explains also some of the distance, in terms of time between the video releases. So I do apologize for that, for those of you who are, keeping an eye on your subscription feeds for news of another video. Just know that under no circumstances am I stopping, giving up, intentionally delaying for arbitrary reasons. We're going to carry on. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. For those of you who missed, I threw out a blurb on Google+, but if you're not in that circle or you don't follow Google+, I was enjoying that game, and I was having fun making the series. I thought it was an interesting series just because it was FPS style, but slower. It was a little more tactical, and also the story in between the action segments kind of broke it up, made it a little bit more diversified, and a good game candidate for a video series. Unfortunately, because I didn't do that video series as often as any of the other ones, I would get a little bit rusty in between producing the videos. So what I would do, rather than going in and doing main plot missions, I would go do one of the side missions that I would never make a video out of, get back into the swing of things, remember what buttons to push and all that. So that's what I did one day. I was getting ready to do another video, so I sat down, I did a side mission, completed the side mission, got my cash reward, spent the cash upgrading our airplane headquarters. Didn't have time to do the next mission to make the video, so I signed in the next day, noticed immediately all the upgrades to the plane were gone, the cash was gone, and the mission that I had completed was no longer flagged as being completed because it didn't save. So I decided to check and see if there was a common issue. They had just released a patch that was mostly involved in the PvP side of things, but I wanted to see, is it a common issue? Is there a fix? Is there a workaround? I couldn't find anything, so I did some tweaking, messing around, see maybe it was Steam Cloud wasn't working. There's nothing wrong with my machine preventing things from saving. I went back in, redid the mission, received the cash again, spent the cash on the upgrades again, exited the game, signed back in, all of it gone. So we had to pull the plug because I can't produce a series where I can't save our progress. And I don't have time to go through and do the mission, get the cash, spend the cash, log out, log back in, see if it works, kind of thing. I'm kind of at that point now where, for at least the time being, and it'll change, I'll get over it eventually and then we'll go back to normal. But spending hours troubleshooting problems that shouldn't be problems is just really, really low on my list of priorities right now. So if it becomes a situation like that with a game where a key feature just suddenly stops working, or we find out it never worked to begin with, I'm just going to put it on hiatus and we'll say, we enjoyed it, but we're going to come back when we come back, which may or may not be any day soon. So that one, I would like to finish it. I was enjoying the game. I thought it made an interesting video series, but no save, no go. Leading us to Minecraft, of all series, to be having this conversation. We're putting Minecraft on hiatus indefinitely. I'm done messing around with troubleshooting mod packs. I'm done messing around with the element of the modding community that's making the entire modding community look bad right now. Unfortunately, that's kind of the way things happen, is it? There are a lot of great people who are making mods because they love making mods, and then they're sharing them with people. That's the spirit of modding, is you do something because you want to do it, and then you share it with other people. That's it. That's all. There's no more than that. It's creating and sharing, period. But they get tarred with the same brush because there's problems that start to run rampant. Mods that don't work. Mod developers who seem more interested in money and prestige and resumes than they do in offering something that they're proud of to the community. This simple step of saying, okay guys, we found out that such and such a block is, you know, corrupting saves or crashing servers or doing all these things, so we're releasing a patch that disables the functionality of that block. So if you invested materials in it, it's still going to be there. It's just not going to do anything anymore until we can fix it properly, at which point we will issue a patch that re-enables it. It will work properly. You will have lost nothing except for some time. We're sorry that you're losing that time, but it's better that than losing your save or having your server crash every 5 minutes or all these other crappy things that happen, because quality is kind of secondary to quantity. And quite frankly, I feel that mod pack producers have a big role to play in this as well. I've mentioned this before, the bloat packs. This pack is better than that pack because it's got 20 more mods kind of attitude that's running rampant right now. I'm hoping these things kind of run in a cycle. And when people get caught up in that cycle, there's no pulling them out of it. They have to experience it for themselves. So what I'm hoping is that these mod pack developers have seen what happens when they jam 200 plus mods in a pack, in terms of what forum is loaded with people who can't play the game is crashing, the game is whatever, saves are corrupted, all the bad things that can happen, things don't work the way they're supposed to work. At what point do mod pack producers say, it's just not worth it, we can't test properly, we can't fix anything because we can't figure out what's broken, or the problem only exists between these two mods when these two mods are loaded, so how do we decide which one to keep and which one to get rid of? Nobody wants to stand up and say, you know what, it's crap, and we're going to make it right, and that's all we need to do is make it right. No excuses, no BS. Just fix it so that it works reliably. I don't think it's fair to say you as the community are now a part of the ongoing alpha test team for all of these mod packs we're making, and by the way, it's never even moving to beta, because by the time it will go to beta, we've got the next alpha pack on deck for you to try. It's just a crappy scene. I don't have the time to do the troubleshooting. I don't have the patience to do the troubleshooting, and it really, I mean, if you've been following my channel, you know that series come and go, and they don't always have the best reasons for coming and going, but that doesn't mean I'm happy about it. And when I start projects and I can't complete them because it's one bug after another, one mod that doesn't work after another, one mod pack that doesn't work after another, I have to question why I'm doing it in the first place. I don't expect a whole lot of people are going to be pulling the support for modded Minecraft, because it's either you've got the videos with the views or you don't. It's just a thing, and the one thing that I can do is stand up and say, I don't have time for this crap. So whatever anyone else does, one way or the other, they're not doing it with me. So that's Minecraft. And I'm sorry for those of you who enjoyed this series. I'm not saying we aren't ever going to go back to Minecraft. I'm saying I need to see a radical shift in the attitude of everyone involved in the process, to focus on quality and the experience of the user, as opposed to just more is cool. Because right now, the more is cool attitude is at the heart of everything that's wrong with the modded Minecraft scene. So that brings us to Robocraft, which came along at about the perfect time, because just when Ars Magica was going to hell, came Robocraft, which allows us to do that creative building thing. We can visualize things in our head and then we can build them, with the added bonus of then being able to drive around and shoot other people who built things. It's a lot of fun. It's great fun. I don't know how long I'll be able to do it as a series, and I'm just being honest. I don't want to promise that this is going to be a brand new staple series that's going to run for, weeks and months and years. it kind of depends on the community's response to it. Once you get to that point, there's only so many mechanics that you can showcase before all you can really do is start doing like strategy highlight videos where you like record a match where you play, and then you come back with the recording and you do the commentary where you're saying, this is what I was thinking when I did this, I'm trying to do this. You point out the things that you did that worked, you point out the mistakes that you made. That's one of the best things too, is point out your own mistakes to the audience so you can say, there's nothing wrong with admitting you made a mistake here. We see the mistake, we're going to fix it, we're going to try and do better. A guy named Ed Park does that with World of Tanks. You might know him as Taugrim. It's just a great way to look at it. It's teaching without being preachy. It's not saying this is the way you should do things. It's saying, this is what I did, let's talk about it, kind of thing. The thing is, you can only do so many of those. You can't do like one every other day because it just gets to be too much of the same thing. So I want to be cautious about what I promise with regards to that series. There's still mechanics we can talk about. That's not an issue. We'll do the strategy thing as we play through. But if it peters off for whatever reason, then that's what happens, because I don't want to bore you guys with the same old crap if you're getting sick of it. So of the existing series, that's kind of it. People have been occasionally asking me about X Rebirth, when's that coming back? It's a very time-intensive game, which is good. I visit this forum or this subreddit or that every once in a while to read what's going on with the game, and it sounds like they're still kind of smoothing things out. They're pretty close, but they're still doing their thing, which is awesome. It's fantastic. I was never mad at the developers for what they released. But I did reach a point where I wasn't satisfied that anything that I did from the point I was at onwards was going to go smoothly without technical issues causing dramatic losses of time and things of that nature. So we set it aside. You know, I spent good money on the game. I would like to get back to it for my own personal reasons at some points. And when I do that, then we'll get back to it as a series as well. And that's really all that I can say about that at this point. Now, the new stuff, we're already over the length that I like to keep these, but like I said, we had a lot to talk about. I spent over the last 2 months or so a very considerable amount of time, and not a ton of money, but more money than you might think, allowing myself to be able to record the audio and video from my phone onto my computer so that I can give you guys videos featuring mobile games. Now, I have an Android-based device. Most of the games that I've been looking at as candidates for episodes coming up would be Android and iOS. Really, I'm not looking at doing multiple episodes of one game. It's more like an overview of games, mobile games, so that you guys can see maybe you haven't heard of this game or whatever. That's what I would like, is ultimately for you guys to be able to say, I haven't heard of that game, what's it about? And watch like a 10 or 15 minute video and get an idea of what's it about, what does it look like, what does it sound like maybe, what are the features, how does it work, that kind of thing. I don't want to call them reviews because I'm one of those people in the camp that if you're going to review something, you have to have a lot of experience with it, and that's not necessarily practical. If you've got a game that takes 40 hours to work through, you're not going to be releasing an episode once a week. It's just one of those things. But at the same time, I find most first impressions videos that I see from various different producers are not really done to a very good quality standard. It's very frustrating as a viewer to be watching something on your screen, the footage that they have going of the game, and it makes sense to you and you understand why they're doing it, but here you have the reviewer, so to speak, or the first impressioner ranting about something that they've misunderstood, and they just won't shut up about it, and you're like, you just want to put it in the comments, like, you don't even understand what you're talking about, but you just spent the last 10 minutes talking about it, and it makes me unhappy. I don't want to be that guy. So it's going to be sort of like a first impressions, but it's not going to be about get this game, because it's all free to play. That's going to be one of the things. It's all going to be free to play. Here's the game. Here's what it looks like. Here's how it works. If this interests you, it's free. Download it and try it yourself. I don't need to tell you if it's good or bad. That's the kind of thing that I'm aiming for. And I mean, I could go on and on and on about this and that, but I mean, I might as well just get to work on the videos so we can have one out for you next week. The first video, for those of you curious, will be on Evolution Utopia. which is a game that is going to be very challenging to review. That's why I'm choosing to do it first, because the more challenging it is, the more I can learn from it in the process. It's a game from a Russian developer, which, if you remember the Metro games, was very much about having to do things with far fewer resources than you thought you could get by with. And this game is no different. Also, it was originally released on iOS, and then they released a major expansion for it, like a major update for it that added all this extra new content. And then they released it on Android, but Android users don't have that expansion yet, except there's some overlap. Certain events happen in the game in the Android version that only make sense if you have the expansion. So it's kind of weird. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but it's also RTS action, looks fantastic. Lots of the combat is really, really entertaining. And we're going to show that all to you when we do that first video for that new series. The mobile series, Android and hopefully iOS with the overlap kind of thing. And that's where we're at. That's the update. I'm trying not to ramble any more than I absolutely have to. So if you have any comments and feedback, as always, feel free to leave it below. If I didn't cover something that you were curious about, by all means ask, and I will answer it as best I can. And we'll see you in the latest videos. Hopefully Robocraft will be out in a day or two, and then we'll have the mobile game out. We'll go from there. As always, thanks for your support, guys. Thanks for watching, and take care.
Invasion by a Dominator has been recorded. The mine has been captured. Excavation has been suspended. New missions are available. The weapons upgrade has been completed in the workshop.